Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho Bryan Kohberger case. Let's talk about Shannon Gray, the Goncalves family attorney. He is representing three of the four victims' families. Shannon Gray. He actually just spoke to Law and Crime in an exclusive interview, and I want to share this interview with all of you because he says some interesting things about the Moscow home being torn down, possible civil litigation against the University of Idaho, possibly the case in general, and he also talks about the Chapin family in one statement. But listen to this, and then we will further discuss. Check it out.
Discuss the demolition of the King Road house is the attorney for Kaylee Goncalves' parents, Shannon Gray. Shannon, thanks for coming on. I know that we had spoken before in the summer about how the family objected to the house being demolished before trial. That is now happening, despite the prosecution and the defense saying, "Yeah, we don't want the house anymore. We don't need it," but you guys still object to the house being knocked down before trial.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were under the understanding initially that they would just keep it. They stopped the demolition for some reason in the spring, or I guess it was in July. And we thought, well, if they found a good enough reason to stop it then why wouldn't they keep that reason and go all the way to trial? But, we got an email the other day from the University of Idaho, really kind of just took us back how quickly, we got an email on the 14th and the demo's scheduled for the 28th. So it's pretty shocking that they would send us such short notice, probably because they know that we're going to try to fight them on it. So
you said you're going to try to fight them on it. How are you going to try to do that?
Well, part of the issue with this is that, last time we just kind of voiced our opinion. Sometimes the public can help out. And when we put out a statement where we're saying, why not just leave it? What's wrong with just leaving it? And I think everyone in America understands that. Like, why not just leave the house where it is? If you don't need it, great, right? Then, the trial goes and then you demo it after the trial. But what if, which has been the case in the last couple of months, people have needed to get back in there, right? And it would have been demolished. So these two opportunities that the defense and the prosecution have had the opportunity to do, if they had followed through with their plan, the University of Idaho, the house would already been demoed by then. So what would they have done then, right?
Did you all ask yet again? Did you ask the university yet again to halt their plan? I mean, obviously they've got a company hired to do this. They've sent out a map with where the media should be parking if they want to observe this. They want to get it done before the kids come back from winter break. They say because, it'll be less disruptive that way. So have you said to them, hey, we're opposed to this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've known we're opposed to it. And I sent them another email. They sent the email to us telling us about it. And I sent them a response email, a pretty harsh one. I thought it was a little premeditated. And I thought that, the short notice was premeditated. And, why would you do it around Christmas, right? The 28th. I mean, especially for the families. And I think the statement kind of says itself, the Goncalves' family statement, where it talks about the house has evidentiary value, at least we believe it does. And then, there's an emotional attachment to the house. And so, a lot of those things should be taken into consideration, and the family feels like it's not. So the Coronado family, I've spoken with Jeff, and he feels the same way as the Goncalves family. The Chapin family, obviously, I don't have any contact with them. So
Jeff Coronado, Xana's father, thinks it should stay until after the trial.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't really, the last time we spoke about this too, you said there really aren't any legal avenues that you can explore to halt this. It would be more of a public outcry type thing.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think there could be some civil remedies that could be pursued, but what you'd be doing is fighting the University of Idaho. People don't understand that these families are families, and they don't have unlimited resources to pursue a legal battle against a giant like the University of Idaho that has legal counsel on staff all the time, right? So, a lot of people are limited by resources and what they're able to afford and what they're able to do. I mean, that's that's in the world in itself. People are limited by resources, So um, I think that, there could be some civil remedies out there, but I don't think the families have the resources to pursue those at this time. So,
this thing has slowed down. Things seem to have come to a halt a bit since Bryan Kohberger waived his right to a speedy trial. I mean, I think a speedy trial was very unrealistic given the magnitude of this case, the amount of evidence to go through, the fact that it's a death penalty case. Do you have a feeling for when it may actually go to trial? Do you think it will be later in 2024, or could we be looking beyond that?
well, the families we've been in contact with, Latah County Prosecutor's Office, trying to figure out what the opinion is on a time frame on getting a trial date. And, the judge, their understanding the judge has to make some decisions on some evidence and things like that before a trial date is scheduled. I don't think anybody knows when the judge is going to make those decisions. So I think it's frustrating for the family. It's absolutely frustrating for the family to not have a trial date. And then the University of Idaho go ahead and moving forward on this and giving us 2 weeks notice that they're going to demo a home that they've known we've fought them on for the last year. And so, it's frustrating. And, if you have any say, and you want to let the University of Idaho know how you feel, I would contact them and let them know. It's people's voices matter, and people's voices should matter, right? The victims' families' voices should matter. And it doesn't seem like they're heard at all, so.
You're a defense attorney, and so you understand, a defendant's right to a fair trial, of course. This case is unique in that for some reason, it's resonated so much with people on social media, and there's been so much crazy stuff that has taken place with this case, with the speculation and things like that. It just seems like everything in this case is filed under seal, nearly everything. How do you feel about that, given the fact that you're somebody who practices, you're a lawyer? How do you feel about all of this? Everything's filed under seal, an order. Oh, we're going to seal that order. We're going to seal this hearing.
Well, remember, I have a non-dissemination order, so I can't really even tell you how I feel. I mean,
that's right.
It's I can't. And,
Yeah.
I, as a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney I've been in the criminal world for 20 some years. And it's frustrating for the families because I explained to them how I think the process should run and how things should be done in my 20 years of practicing. And so they have those expectations. And so, it's up to the court to decide and make those things. It's up to the prosecution and the defense to make the decisions as far as, presenting the case and defending the case. And one day, maybe I'll be able to really tell everybody how I feel and what this process has been like, going through it with the families and the struggles that have gone on throughout. But it's not today. And I kind of just have to bite my tongue. So
it sounds like the family, the Goncalveses, at least, you speak for them, there's still a level of frustration there.
I think there's a high level of frustration. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what's going on, right? There's motions that are filed. There are, hearings that are set. I go through all the hearings. I go through all the motions with the family, talk about those things, talk about the normal process of how things might work or should work. Trial dates, scheduling orders, what evidence, alibi information, all of those things that have been an issue and topics in the past over the last 6 months, speedy trial issues, all of those things, and how I think and how, in my experience, the criminal justice system has worked. And so, since everything's under seal, we don't get any information. We don't have any information on the case. We don't get any additional facts. We don't get anything at all. And 99% of the time, if I want something or the family wants something, I have to reach out to the district attorney's office or the prosecutor's office. It's not them contacting us. Every once in a while they do, to give us a heads up on something that might be coming out in the media and give. But other than that, if I need anything at all, it's me being proactive and the family being proactive to contact them to get information. And I think that's frustrating for them. I think they felt like there would be a much more open line of communication with the Latah County Prosecutor's Office than there really is. So
they don't have a victim witness coordinator who
we
reaches
do.
out on behalf
We do.
of the.
We do. What's there to tell us? There's not. I mean, every once in a while, we'll get contact about a hearing or things like that. But I can read the hearing. It's filed underneath the public notices. There's no additional information that we're getting in any way, in any sense, other than maybe, like this. We'll get an email maybe the morning of, maybe a day before that they're going to go back into the house. And don't freak out. So, that's the kind of information we get, and, there was a hearing, if there were hearings, this is when the hearings are. Well, I know, because they're filed under the public notices and they're filed in the court case, and we can look those up. We don't get anything additional. So.
Interesting. Well, Shannon, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think it's just important for everyone to understand that the family feels it's very important for the demolition of that house to stop. And if you have any power, you can reach out and let the University of Idaho know what you think about it. I think that could be beneficial for the family, and it's just it's commonsensical, I think, to most of us. If you were to take a poll, that house should stay there. I think it's one of those things where it's a crime scene. It's a very large piece of evidence. Just the mere fact that it's there and the location of the rooms, entry points, exit points, vantage points of witnesses that are in the case, and it's hard to recreate those things. It's hard to after the fact, when it's gone, here's a copy of the house. I don't know how that makes much sense, right? So
interesting. Will the Goncalves family sue the University of Idaho to get them to stop tearing down that house? He said they were just notified on the 14th of December and didn't get enough time. He said the University of Idaho has unlimited resources, so that might be a losing battle, right? Going against David, going against Goliath. And then he also said that he's not in contact with the Chapin family. What's going on here? Is all the victims' families on board, or are they all on the same page? Or is different ones doing their own thing? He's not speaking to the Chapin family. Very, very interesting. I want to know what the Chapin family feels about that home being taken down. Ashley says that they're cool with it. Ashley Banfield with News Nation, who was interviewing Steve Goncalves the other day. So I don't know. But that's Shannon Gray. What will happen with this case? Will ultimately the home go down on December 28th? That is D-Day for demolition, right? Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. What did you get out of that interview with Shannon Gray had with Law and Crime? I'll be reading your comments. We are covering this case extensively. This is the go-to channel when it comes to the Moscow, Idaho case. We cover this case 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Any new developments, who's saying what, when, where, and why, we will share on this channel. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.